Every business has its own story. That story starts with the heart, soul, blood, sweat, and tears of the entrepreneurs and those who support them. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life, and I've devoted my adult life to helping others realize their dreams of owning and growing a business. I'm constantly inspired by those who put it all on the line to build their dreams. I'm compelled to tell you these stories. This is about the people who are giving it all to help better the world around us. This is Constant Purpose, small businesses changing the world. The best founders know that success is all about the little things in a business that add up to a big advantage. They don't overlook the chance to save money and add expertise so that they can focus on what they do best. Good founders don't reinvent the wheel. Circle the Wagons provides back-end logistics services to D2C companies so that founders can focus on marketing, product development, and customer satisfaction. CTW also provides a direct line of service to the country's independent grocers by helping them save money. They aim to eventually provide a direct link between innovative D2C companies and independent grocers. This is a founders-led and focused 3PL or third-party logistics company. Their pricing model is innovative, their service level is amazing, and before your e-commerce, CPG, or D2C company tries a DIY in the warehouse, it needs to check out CTW. Behind it all is a team spirit and deep sense of commitment and relationship that really comes through when they're working with people. Hailing from Houma, Louisiana, CTW is another example of a company reinventing business in an unlikely place.
We really tell the brands and the founders and companies from these different brands, this is your warehouse. If they want to get access to look at the camera footage and dial in here live to see what's going on with their brand and with their team, they can. We truly mean what we say when we're going to operate this as an extension of their own company. It's their warehouse. We're here to service their needs.
That's great. So there's an open door policy. There's essentially full integration with their operations.
Correct.
You guys manage the screen that comes the orders. I assume you let them come in here and you guys work together on the most efficient way to package. They show you how they do it. You say, all right, great. Probably some improvements that you've helped make along the way.
Most of the time.
And then, anytime they want to come by and check on things, see how it's going, meet
Open
with
door.
everybody, open door.
Open door.
That's really great. That's got to be pretty unique in the space.
Transparency is critical.
What we've learned so far is that, these small startups, they just don't have the bandwidth to do this on their own. It's expensive to get a warehouse. It's expensive to hire staff. It's expensive for all this equipment. So bringing in the mindset is that you don't have to do it all by yourself. You can have the personalized touch here with us as if you did it yourself. We're just as responsive as their own employees would be, and we care because we do understand that what we do matters.
That's great. Well, maybe you can just show us around some of the brands and maybe explain to people exactly how you've gotten in there and improved their existing processes.
Beast takes up the majority of the warehouse because of their extensive product line. We have all of their stuff laid out kind of by category and by SKU that helps our warehouse employees pick easier and more accurate. So they'll take a pick cart and come with all the orders. They'll go by order and everything is laid out with the associated SKU number so that they can double check it to the order so that we ensure that those orders are accurate.
But I guess I would say it's a seamless experience. So consumer orders product on the ware site, you guys get notified pretty much right away. You're monitoring that 24/7. And then you guys have a full staff that then comes out here and picks in the individual things. So you guys are making the packages that end up going directly to the consumer, right?
That's correct. And what we noticed with Beast, where we were a big benefit, is that they were spread amongst 3 warehouses before.
Wow, yeah.
So if somebody ordered something, a multi-item order, if one warehouse that was closest to them didn't have it in stock, they had to ship it from another warehouse. So then they were shipping 2 packages to the same person.
Yeah.
Whereas everything's here, it gets shipped in 1 package. So it's a better experience for the consumer to get one package with everything they ordered, and it's better for Beast because they're only paying for one package to go out.
And you know, I'll plug CTW here for that. I mean, this was a big thing for me when we first got into Beast as investors. And I said, you know, we were looking at taking a warehouse in-house for Beast. And I said, I don't know anything about warehousing. And definitely the founding team didn't know anything about warehousing. And there was this idea that, you know, there was going to be a warehouse with basketball courts and probably a lot of fun, but not necessarily a lot of savings. And that's when I met Barton around that same time. I'm like, I knew you had the experience on warehousing. I said, we can't do this ourselves and we need some help. And, you know, we've been fortunate ever since. So instead of having the 3 different warehousing shipping to one another, instead of paying people $50 an hour to break down pallets, now we have, you know, you guys, which are on top of it, and you constantly find savings. And I mean, our accuracy rate has improved tremendously.
You know, Chase is constantly spending his time looking at how can we collaborate between the different brands to use the same type of box, but maybe a different sticker for each company in this size box, so that they're all not buying different boxes, not hitting minimum order quantity discounts because they're not collaborating on even something basic as the raw supplies. Yeah. And that's where we take the mindset that's a little bit different than others, where, you know, other 3PLs would look at how can we figure out a way to create more profit centers to charge back to the brands that are in-house.
Right.
We take the approach to say, if we can give you those opportunities or best practices or ideas for cost savings, and that improves your bottom line and allows you to grow, hopefully you grow with us.
Yeah, and that's a key differentiator. Other 3PL models really look at small brands as kind of a problem. So
correct. It's
almost like they have premium pricing and then cost plus pricing. So it's everything they kind of want to see you spend more on, because they end up charging you 10% on top. Whereas you guys are working with brands that are scaling, and you're saying, how can we scale our business with them? You know, make good money as a warehousing operation, but also find different kinds of ways to save money so we get their long-term businesses and all these companies perform better.
Correct.
Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
So, Hydrinity is a brand. This is a little bit different. That's not, I guess, it's not as much direct to consumer. Maybe these are where are they selling their products?
That's correct. Primarily, they are business to business to dermatology offices.
Okay.
So that's where my background came in a little more useful because we get this stuff raw. We have to carton it here and do that white glove.
Okay.
So all fingerprints, any imperfections have to be white glove.
Got it.
And then packaged like you see here. And then these have to essentially arrive perfect to their destination.
Right.
So Hydrinity, being the young brand that they were, they didn't really have any processes, so we developed them for them. The way things are packaged, the way they're sent.
There's another one of these companies, Bruzy, that, you know, we all are very fond of and is in the warehouse environment. You know, when I look at this one, and I've worked with this product, this is a super cool product that lets you do home winemaking, like the traditional kind of winemaking, where you take either a fruit juice, basically anything with sugar, you add one of these little packets to it into a jug, and you essentially ferment it on your own. Very cool and interesting product. You know, this is essentially like an at-home manufacturing kit or science kit. It looks like there's a lot of components. What kind of things have you noticed in working with a company like this, where you're really assembling their kind of core package that's not just discrete products, but it's all part of one unified thing?
That's right. So Bruzy is a great concept, and they are gaining a lot of traction with customers, and we see that with all the orders we ship out of here. But all of their stuff pretty much arrives here raw. And the starter kits are all assembled in-house. A lot of the orders are kind of a la carte. You know, people may want a couple jugs, a couple wine bottles. So everything they have is essentially manufactured in this building.
So yeah, tell us a little bit about this product. This is interesting. This is, what do you do with this?
So this is an all natural additive that people can put in their water. No dyes, no artificial sweeteners. It's all natural, and it's their drive is really, I think, to get consumers drinking more water instead of
sodas,
packaged beverages and sodas, kind of more health conscious brand.
And
Very health conscious, very community focused brand, and that extends to the founders and their existing team.
And does this also involve like a CO2 or carbonation kind of canister?
So this is their carbonation machine. Comes with the containers that you would add your water, maybe some of your drops that you wanted. You can also put fruit in there. It also comes with a CO2 canister to give your beverage a little carbonation.
Interesting.
So we ship all of these out. This is considered kind of a hazmat item, so we had to go through some training to do that. But we handle all the initial shipments as well as all the refills that customers may order.
Very cool. Tell me a little bit about the entrepreneurial journey for you, because a lot of people I've met over the years, they may have family members or grew up in a family where people were starting businesses or shops or whatever. For you, what drew you to become an entrepreneur? What compelled you to do this?
Honestly, what really got me into it, and I didn't even know what an entrepreneur was back then. One of the things that I enjoyed the most was when growing up in New Orleans, my dad had a lot of functions in banking, and so he asked if I would drive him sometimes, because he would be out with folks and having a couple of cocktails or whatever. And so I would kind of be the designated driver, but I got to go to these meetings and sit back and listen to a lot of the conversations and learned a lot. But there was this one particular evening, and I don't know if it still exists, but there was a Louisiana Entrepreneur of the Year award. Okay. And it was a big banquet every year. And there were all different types of entrepreneurial divisions that were competing, I guess, if you will. And I, again, don't know if it's still around to this day, but my dad was asked to be the opening presenter or keynote for this one particular banquet. And he invited me to come and drive him. And he got up on stage and started to pull out what was the speech that he had actually practiced with me before we left. And so I knew what he was going to say, or I thought I knew what he was going to say. And he gets up there and he starts the speech and gives recognition to a young man that worked at the bank to help him, write this. And I saw him stop for a minute and fold the paper up and put it back into his pocket. I knew he was going off script. And I know you don't know my dad, but he's not an off script kind of guy. And so that was a very interesting moment for me that I really knew I'm about to form a memory here. And I just dialed into what he was about to say. And he paused for a minute and then he says, "I've got this great speech, but I've got to speak from the heart. I have always been a W-2 employee. I have never trusted myself enough to go out and take the leap of faith that all of you have that are sitting in this room. And so for every entrepreneur that's in this room tonight, know that you are a personal hero of mine and have done something I've never had the guts to do." And I saw my dad kind of tear up a little bit. And again, probably had never seen that before at that point in my life. And I sat back and I watched this, and I remember having the distinctive thought, I don't know what an entrepreneur is, but if that's the level of respect that my dad has for one, I'd love to be able to have that one day to earn that respect, that level of respect from my dad.
That is awesome. That's one of the best stories I think I've probably ever heard on that. I mean, I think what you're touching on there is it takes a lot of courage. It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to do. It takes a lot of grit, and that's a touching story because your dad kind of recognized that in all these people. But it's also touching that they, even though he's a W-2 employee, they also clearly recognized those qualities in him and how he was making things happen for them and helping their businesses. And that's amazing. That's really great. All right. Well, Heather, thanks for sitting down with me. I know you got tons of stuff to do, but I thought it was important to sit down with, some of the other people on the team and hear their perspective on all this. Cause I know this, being with a relatively new company that's fast moving and changing is a little bit different than, before. So tell me a little bit about, your perspective being part of this core original team, kind of leaving a much, bigger company, a more established company, and joining this kind of startup type environment. What's it been like for you?
Right. So it has definitely been different for sure, but in the best way possible. When you're in a bigger company and you work for a bigger company, especially even if it's family owned or publicly traded, sometimes you kind of get lost in the numbers. You just kind of become a number. So, working for this startup has been very different because the team is very, very lean. We all know each other, on a personal and obviously professional level. So it's really been great to kind of see and seek out what your strengths and weaknesses are, really as a team. We all kind of, where one lacks, the other just picks it up. So it's been really great. And honestly, now that I've experienced it, I don't know if I'd ever go back to a bigger company. No.
You got the bug, huh?
I'm liking it. I really am. I really enjoy it.
All right, Del, thanks for joining me here.
Mark, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Fabulous. Never better.
Never better. Things as crazy as they always seem to be in the
Always.
world of
If
CTW.
it's not crazy, then I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Well, so you've been here now how long? Was it going on a year?
Going on a year, made a year in January, so a year and 2 months, 3 months,
3
something
months.
of that sort.
And you're coming straight out of school, right?
Straight out of school.
So did you, in going through college, did you ever imagine yourself working in a place this dynamic?
I did not. And then I met Barton.
Okay.
And then everything kind of changed, and I was like, okay, well, I'm not exactly sure what he's saying when he was kind of explaining the position, the role, everything about it, but I knew it was something I was interested in. It sounded very dynamic, something very fast-paced, everything I enjoyed. So.
And that's what you were looking for out of it. But had you thought about, working at a startup company? Did you get exposed to a lot of that on the LSU campus?
I did, because my major was mass communications with a focus in public relations. So I was very kind of marketing, media heavy, but my minor was entrepreneurship.
Okay.
So I was able to kind of learn the ins and outs, the different business models, the different way that just businesses in general work.
Right.
And I think I was always intrigued by startups just because, there's so much adaptability with it. You have to kind of be able to just be flexible and that sort of thing. And I always thought they were intriguing. Not thinking I would land in one, but here we are.
Yeah. As you can see, the CTW team is full of entrepreneurial spirit. But it's not just the back office that sets this team apart. If you've ever had a beat up cardboard box show at your doorstep, or gotten the wrong item in your order, or had to write a company to ask where your delivery is, you know what a warehouse done badly looks like. For the CPG companies that CTW serves, CTW is going far beyond storing, packing, and shipping. They're coordinating group ordering of common items like boxes, tape, etc. They're customizing infrastructure for each of their clients, tracking inventory, doing customer service, and so much more. They're even helping clients save money with their suppliers and the shipping companies. Unlike 3PLs that try to increase the costs and then charge you more on top of those costs, CTW has inverted the model, and they try to get the costs for their clients down and charge a flat fee no matter how much your fixed costs are.
So I am the warehouse manager over here. So I direct all the guys on what orders need to go out. I send information on what needs to be picked up. Like I set up shipments. I instruct them on what needs to go out, how it needs to go out, if it's UPS, FedEx, or the Postal Service. This warehouse is it's laid back. I think that's the most unique thing about it. We run at our own speed. It's laid back. It's like not a lot of people on your back telling you gotta get this done, you gotta get this done now. The best thing about it, it's laid back.
I do basically everything here. Make pallets, make orders, basically whatever they need me to do. Never been anywhere, I never worked any place that really cared about their workers the way they do here. Whether that's from something as simple as you need a transportation to get back and forth to work or anything.
What makes it unique this is just my opinion, is that it's a big warehouse, but it has a small crew. So that's an added plus. We all get along together, have a good rapport with everybody in the company. This is one company where, with most companies I've been at, less talk, more work. Here, we converse with everyone all day, and yet we're able to get everything done.
So I'm here really as a helper. So I aid in stocking for Hydrinity. I fill always orders. I help out Robert with Bruzy. The atmosphere, the friendliness of everybody, that everyone gets along. It's a family-like atmosphere.
Most people have never run a company that sells products, but those who have know how hard warehousing and logistics is for a business. For many, it can really make or break their bottom line. CTW staff comes from a diverse background, and their own entrepreneurial journey makes them uniquely positioned to help entrepreneurs. This is just something you don't often see in a 3PL. Well, we've heard so many great things today, good stories, the origin story here of you and your entrepreneurship journey. What else do you want to leave people with and tell the world about CTW and what you're doing here as a founder?
Well, first off, thank you for the opportunity, to be involved in this and to showcase the different components of our company and most importantly, showcase the value of the team that has to come together for this to be successful. And I'm not talking about just our internal team, but clearly the resources that you and your team and Colleague Capital as a whole, both personally and professionally, provide to me and to us. But I think I would close by saying that this has been, while a short journey thus far, one of the most incredible I'll likely ever experience. And that for anyone that's out there who has considered taking that leap of faith or maybe looking for the confidence to get out of the trees and start to see their forest, I would tell you to do it. Because at the end of the day, I've always wanted to, when my time comes to hang up the hat, I didn't want to have any regrets. I wanted to say I took a chance. I don't want to say I wish I would have or I think I could have. And if I wouldn't have taken this journey and taken this leap and listened to those that were pushing me to do so, I think I would have had just that. And so the journey has been incredible, and while short, I can't wait to see where it goes. Thank you for your continued support and telling these kind of stories, because I'm certain there's a lot of folks that are looking for the right thing to figure out how to take those next steps and take that leap. And again, I would say find the right team. Be willing to be vulnerable. That's how you develop trust. And take the leap. It's incredibly worth it.
That's awesome, man. I think that's going to inspire lots of people. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I want to thank everyone at Circle the Wagons for opening up to us today. This is a fun team to work with. They're emotional and passionate about the small things that make a huge difference. From the employees to their clients, the company is taking what many would think of as a behind-the-scenes commodities business and shaped it into something that truly delights their clients and makes that end customer pumped about that next package delivery.